Some say Chinese is one of the most difficult languages in the world, and learning it is almost impossible.
So learning Chinese, the most difficult thing.
非常非常非常非常非常难
So I'm sort of tone deaf. I can't really hear them.
I think the cultural mindset is the biggest complication for
The
us.
grammar.
知吃思诗都还难
It's just complicated so much.
Only because you're not learning it in the right way. Why not try Takeaway Chinese, where you can take some Chinese away and experience progress day by day. Takeaway Chinese, we will promise you a difference.
你好，欢迎收听随行汉语 Welcome to Takeaway Chinese. I'm Niu Honglin. Joining me today, Mr. Tony Reid, who has just returned from his lovely vacation days. Hello, Tony. You're glowing.
I'm glowing, yes.
Yeah.
And it's probably because I cut my hair also, so my head is
Or
glowing a little bit.
You're very happy because you've just very well rested.
Yeah, I could use another week, but you know how
Everybody
that goes.
could use another week.
I know. Well, it looks like you're getting ready to go somewhere too, are you not?
Oh yeah, but I'm not exactly going on a vacation or an annual leave thing. I'm going on a business trip. 我要出差。
出差。
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 Yes, so 出 carries the meaning of going out. We know that. For example, 出门, going out of the door to do something. And 差 is a little bit like your shift or your mission or your job. So 出差.
出差.
Yes, that's a little bit like go out for a mission, for a job, for something you're about to do.
Okay.
出差. So technically speaking, 出差, business trips. 出差.
出差, yeah, I always get that mixed up because I always feel like when people are gone from the office that it's some type of vacation.
No, it's
because
not.
They don't have to come in.
Actually, there is another form of not working in the office. I do not know if you still remember it, but working from home.
Oh, yes, WFH. Of
We
course.
call it 居家办公.
居家办公.
Yes, so 居家 is stay home. 办公 is do business.
Okay.
So 居家办公 suggests that you're still working and probably your daily jobs are not changing, but you're doing it from home. 居家办公 or 远程办公, far away business hours, something like that. But 出差 is a whole different story. Have you ever been on a business trip?
I can't say that I have. I mean, I feel like my experience in China could be one big business trip, but it's not really the same.
That is a strange thing to say, you know? But I get what you mean.
Yeah.
In this case, hopefully these following several episodes would, come in handy for you. Since we might be touching upon the entire process of a business trip, including how to apply for one to your company, how to, do the budgeting stuff, how to have a plan on what are you going to do, and also how to get your money back, get the reimbursement after you're back.
Leveraging with your boss, huh?
Yeah, something very interesting. And if you have the ability to do it in Chinese, I'm pretty sure they're going to be convinced that out there you're able to take care of yourself and finish the mission the company gives you.
I think so.
Yeah, so it'd be fun. So hopefully for you and for our dear friends listening to Takeaway Chinese, these would be some useful shows. So, if you're interested in Chinese culture and you want to get a grip on the Chinese language, then this is the show for you. Stick with us for 30 minutes and you soon see the rewards. And for more fun Chinese learning, follow our Facebook page, CRI Learn Chinese, to watch many fun videos and live streams. But now, let's provide you with some free Chinese for takeaway. 我下周要去出差，你的电脑里有出差申请的模板吗？有，现在就拷贝给你，谢谢。需要在办公自动化系统 提交申请吗？需要的预算走完流程之后还要打印出来给领导签字。
Definitely an office conversation here that I think I need, especially when it comes to making copies, because I think that's something that we always do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 拷贝.
拷贝, that's
really
copy.
Good. Very useful word.
But actually that C, you pick it out because it shares the similar pronunciation with English, isn't it?
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, but again, in Chinese, if you're saying you need to print it out, if you need to print out a copy, you cannot really say the Chinese word 拷贝. You cannot use it. I know in English
Really?
you say it's a copy, but in Chinese you have to say 打印. It's another word.
I think you love making things more complicated for me. Is that it?
Sometimes, maybe a little bit, but I do it not the easy way. I do it the right way. All right, let's get into the conversation so you would know the difference between a copy and, actually copy something in Chinese.
All right, let's give it a shot.
我下周要去出差，你的电脑里有出差申请的模板吗？
So this is, I'm going on a business trip next week. Do you have a template for a business trip application in your computer?
Yeah.
So,我下周, right?
Yeah, 我下周.
我下周.
I.
So 我 is I and 下周 is next week, right?
Next week.
要 is, this is want.
This is want, but in this sentence, it means I am on a trip. I will do something.
I will.
I will.
Okay, so 要去, this is will go.
Will
Okay,
go.
Right? 出差.
出差, we know. Business trip.
Business trip.
Yes, and in case you didn't notice, 出差 is actually a verb. So business trip, I know in English it's a noun, but in Chinese you use it as a verb. 我要去出差, I'd like to go, let's say, business tripping in a way.
It almost seems like in this sentence that 要去 is will go, that's the verb, and then 出差 is the noun in English, like business trip. So it kind of works.
It kind of works, yes.
And then 你的 is your. 电脑, I think that's computer.
Computer, 电脑, yes.
And then 理由.
No, not together. 理 is in. 有 is have. So,
Have.
see, when I'm reading it the very first time in the beginning of our show, I'll read it in a very, very slow and very choppy way. When I say choppy, it's not like I cannot put them together. But when I'm being choppy, I'm actually putting the words that are supposed to be together.
So, moral of the instruction, guys. Tony, listen up. Make sure you put the pauses where they're supposed to be.
Well, actually, it is also a good tip for our friends listening to Takeaway Chinese because we post these scripts up there on the website. So you would be able to read the script. And while you're reading, you can take a listen at one, do I pause? The places that I pause in a natural sentence would be how you pause in the Chinese language. And the places I pause during the first reading of it would suggest which characters together form a word.
Okay.
Okay, so 理 inside, 有 have.
理由.
Yeah.
So that's in and then have. 出差 again is 出差. 出差.
Perfect.
Right?
出差, yeah.
That's a business trip.
Yep.
And then 申请.
申请.
申请. This is a application or apply, right?
Yes, it can be used both as a noun and as a verb. 申请. And here, 出差申请, you can kind of understand that they're together. They form a longer word together. 出差申请 would be a application for a business trip.
出差申请的. So that's the business trip application of, and then 模板 is a template, yeah?
Actually, the other way around.
So
The
template
of, yeah.
Yeah. So okay, I'll leave that alone. All right, so 出差申请的模板. So this
Perfect.
is template of the business trip application, and then
Yes.
ma is the question.
Yes. 有，现在就拷贝给你。
So this is yes. I'll copy it for you now.
Yeah.
So yo, in this case, because the person asked, do you have something, right? The response to that in a positive way is yo.
Yo, I have
it.
Yes.
It's
So
just-
in English, even though we say yes, yes, I have it. In Chinese, when we are asked a yes or no question, we would respond a little bit more precisely to that exact question. So, for example, if a wife asks a husband, 我美吗? Am I pretty?
我美丽
Yeah, 我美吗? Am I beautiful? The husband would say, 美, beautiful.
当然 right?
Yeah, 当然, sure. So, see, when he's answering that question, instead of saying yes, 是, he's saying 美. So, being more precise when you're answering a yes or no question in Chinese.
I see. So yo here is yes.
Yes.
现在 is now, right? 就 is that like just?
Yes.
Okay. And then 拷贝
Word
here
Tony likes.
is copy. And then
Yes.
给你 means give you.
Give
so
you,
right now
for you.
I'll just give you a copy.
See, that's the problem. If you understand it as I'm giving you a copy, you're thinking about a paper of the template, right?
That's
You
right.
have to fill it in with pen and stuff. But actually here in this circumstance, if we're saying this sentence in a workplace, 现在拷贝给你, in Chinese, it means I'm giving you a copy of my file in perhaps a flash drive or any other forms. So this copy does not mean a paper copy.
So it's an e-copy.
It's an e-copy.
Soft copy.
Yes.
Got it.
All right. 现在就拷贝给你. Allow me to give you a e-copy right now. 谢谢.
Interesting.
谢谢. 需要在办公自动化系统提交申请吗?
Wow, that was fast. You said thank you. Do I need to submit an application in the office automation system?
Yep.
So 谢谢 is obviously thank you. 需要 is need. 在 is like this is a preposition, right?
Yeah, it's in or at.
In
It
or
means
at.
within that system.
And then 办公 this is I believe the office.
办公室 would be the office. 办公 would mean a little bit like do business or do work. or
工 is like 工作,
工作,
right?
yes.
办公 is office work.
Yes.
Got it. 自动化.
自动化.
So 自动化, I think this is the automation word,
Yes.
right? And then 系统, this is
系统.
system.
System, 系统.
And then 提交,
提交.
this is to submit something.
To submit something. So if you are still a student and you have to submit your homework or assignment, that would also be 提交. 提交, submit. And sometimes in Chinese we say 交作业. So hand up your assignments. It's also like a colloquial way of saying submit your assignment in Chinese. 交作业 or 提交论文. Submit your dissertation or something.
Or hand it in English.
Yes.
All right. And then 申请 again.
Application.
Application. Ma.
And here I am making your life a little bit easier.
Okay.
If you're working in a Chinese company and they have this 办公自动化系统, office automation system, actually you can just say OA.
OA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. If you
需要
see,
在 OA. Oh, 办公 you don't. So I don't need to say that. I could just say 需要在 OA 提交申请吗?
yeah, perfect. So I think that word is also introduced to China through English, and that system, call it OA, is shorter for Chinese people as well. So it's another example of how intertwined our cultures are in different perspectives. So yes, you can
Yeah.
say OA.
Well, I'm an advocate of it. It makes my life easier when trying to learn Chinese, right?
Yeah, yes. OA 办公自动化系统。需要的预算走完流程之后，还要打印出来给领导签字。
So this is yes, and once your budget goes through the process, it should be printed out and signed by the 老板 or the boss, right?
Yes.
All right, so 需要的, that means 需要 is need,
Need.
and the, that means something needs it,
Yep.
right?
So 需要的 yes. Again, an example of answering the yes or no question. Previously, the question is 有什么吗? So do you have it? And you answer it with 有, yes, I have it. Or 没有, no, I don't have it. And here the question is 需要 something something 吗? So should I or do I need to do something? And the answer here is 需要的. Yes, you need to. See? By understanding the Chinese questions better, you would know how to answer them in Chinese better. 需要的. Yes, you need to.
Okay. 预算.
预算.
So this is budget, right?
Budget.
And then 走完 is I think that's go like something to complete or to go through.
Yes. So 走 carries the meaning of walk, but when this word or when this character is used in different occasions, we would translate them in English differently. And here you can kind of understand it as your, little file of application get into the automatic system or automation system, and it goes from you to your first level boss, and your first level boss would say yes, have a click, and it goes on to another one and another one.
Bureaucracy. Okay, got
a little bit. But when that's done, it means go through, right? Go through it. Be like finish the process, finish walking the process. 走完流程.
流程. I think this is 流程 is process, isn't it?
Process 流程. So 流 carries the meaning of flow. So 流水 would be flowing water or running water. 流 carries the meaning of flow, and 程 is 程序, so steps. So 流程 would be the process, the steps of the flow, the procedures.
Okay. Yeah, step by step. And then 之后. 之后 is like after, yeah?
After, yes. And it's used much more often than you might think, because the character 之 is considered rather of a equivalent of 的 in ancient Chinese. So 之 would actually mean 的 in ancient Chinese, and 后 is after. So you might think, this word contains a ancient Chinese character. You must be not using it quite often nowadays. And that's not true, because 之后 is very, let's say, convenient when you want to put the after the things that you're saying after about. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
So, 晚饭之后我们出去走路吧. After dinner, let's go and have a walk. So 晚饭 would be the thing. 之后 is afterwards. So if you want to describe something that is really long, especially if it's not only just a word, you need a whole sentence to describe the things, then after all of the words you're going to use to describe the thing, you can just add 之后. That's very convenient. So for example, I can say 这次出差采访写报道直播之后我学会了很多. See, all the things I said before 之后 would be like, in this business trip, after I went on to have an interview and did a lot of reports and live stream, after all that, I learned a lot. See, in that case, you want to say those things first and then use 之后, right?
At the end, okay.
Yeah, use it at the end. Very convenient.
And then next we have 还要.
还要.
This is this another way of saying 和, like and?
It's a little bit like saying 和, but you say it in the sense that after that, we also need to do something else. So it's a little bit like also as well.
Oh, all right. In addition to?
In addition to.
Okay, and then 打印.
Here you go.
This is another one for print, right?
Yes, it is the word for print.
Like a physical copy?
Physical copy. So if you want to say, can I have a copy in English? In Chinese, you actually say
我需要打印.
我需要打印. I need to print it out. Or 请给我一份打印版. So 版 is version. So please give me a version of a printed out version.
Oh, okay.
Or 请给我打印一份. Please print out one for me. 请给我打印一份.
一份.
一份 one copy.
So you have to say the quantity at the end, or can you say it before 打印? Like for example, 我需要一份打印. Can you say that? Or do you have to say 打印一份?
Grammatically, you have to say 打印一份 because 打印 here is a verb. If you say one print, it doesn't work. You cannot really put a quantity word in front of a verb. But if you say 打印一份, you're saying I want one. I want you to copy one for me. I want you to print out one for me. But another thing that might makes you feel happy is that in Chinese, if you say 一份打印, people still understand.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. 还要打印出来.
出来.
So this is coming out or something to come out.
Yes,
something,
so
right?
print out.
So print out. And then 给 means give. 领导.
领导.
So 领导 is this is
Leader.
another word for 老板, right?
Yeah. You can say 老板 for sure. 领导 is the leader or the boss. It's just a way to address the boss. It's fine.
And then 签字.
签字.
All right, and this is the sign or signature, right?
Yes. So 签字 would be to sign it.
签名 means your precious name, right?
签名 is also sign it, but yeah, you can use them interchangeably. When you say 需要签字, mainly it's the same thing. It's interchangeable with 签名, but very occasionally, perhaps the bosses need to say agree, 同意, and with their names, then it's not exactly sign their names, not exactly 签名. It would be more accurate if you use 签字. Signature or sign.
Okay.
All right. Do you have any other questions about the language points in the conversation?
Well, lots of new words there, so don't want to take up too much time. Let's just go ahead and give it a try.
Okay, let's give it a try. Even though I'm saying this to Tony, but for those of you who are listening, if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask them in the comment area or leave us a message or shoot us an email, do whatever you want. We are going to address them as much as we can. And if you're on Facebook, you can also search for Niuniu Chinese. That's NIU Chinese and interact with me directly. Okay, let's try the conversation now.
我下周要去出差你的电脑里有出差申请的模板吗？
有，现在就拷贝给你。
谢谢。需要在办公自动化系统提交申请吗？
需要的，预算走完流程之后，还要打印出来给领导签字。You're listening to Takeaway Chinese with myself, Niuniu and Tony. We would love to hear from you. Send us your thoughts via email to learnchinese@cri.com.cn. Coming up next, let's learn about the process, the quote-unquote bureaucracy you need to go through before going on a business trip. Don't go away, so you will take some Chinese away. Welcome back to Takeaway Chinese. I'm Niuniu with Tony in the studio. Hi, Tony.
Niuniu, what's going on?
A business trip is going on, or the processing, or the preparation of it.
Yes, the annoying part of waiting to see if everything is going to go through, right?
Oh, yeah. But I'm not really sure about the situation outside of the company I'm working in, since it is the company that I worked in ever since I graduated. But I'm pretty sure it's not going to be that different. That is, before going on a business trip, you have to have a plan, which we are going to talk about in another episode. And you need to have kind of a budget, like how much money you're going to spend, where you're going, what's the purpose. And after having all that information on a file, you send that file to your boss and they're going to say, that looks like a good plan. The company is going to pay for that, right?
Yeah, I think for most companies, it's kind of this way where the employee requests certain, I guess, accommodations and they have certain objectives. But I think it depends. Some companies, they already have that ironed out and it's just like, you just go do it. We'll cover this and we'll cover that. So I think it depends on type of industry that you're in.
Yeah, and also even most companies would cover your expenses. So we say 差旅费.
差旅费.
差旅 is like trips, and 费 is the fee. Oh, this isn't easy to remember one.
Yeah,
Remember
I think so.
费as fee, right?
Fei is fee, and it sounds very similar.
Right. Okay, so 差旅费 would be the expenses on the trip. So that is basically the part of money that you spend on the trip, including, for example, 火车票, that's a train ticket, and also 飞机票, that's a plane ticket, and perhaps 飞机票.
机票.
Yeah, or you can say 机票 directly. 机票 works.
Okay.
And also 打车.
This is a car, right?
Yes, but it means take a taxi. 打车 is a taxi. So you have to plan all those things and take them into consideration and put them in your budget. 预算.
预算.
Yes, put them in your budget,
Right.
so that the company would have an idea of how much money you're going to spend. They might say yes, most occasions, if your plan is already in the OA, in the 办公自动化系统, it's basically because your boss has already, given you a
Generally
go.
approved.
Yeah,
everything,
generally
right?
approved. And now you're just going to go through the, let's say, process. Previously, I didn't quite understand the need to fill in all the forms and hand them in electronically or in real piece of paper on a paper.
Yeah.
But lately, since I've been on so many business trips, I realized that there are people who are managing all that. There are people on the next step, and we need to make it, clean and clear for them so they understand what they are approving about.
So
And
you need paper for that. Is that what you're saying? You're defending paper?
I'm defending paperwork. So yeah, sometimes it's just when you work in a big corporate, there are certain steps you need to, go through. 走流程.
So travel expense one more time is 差旅费?
差旅费.
Okay.
Yes.
And then plane fee is 飞机票.
Plane ticket.
Plane ticket.
Yes, 机票.
Okay. Not 飞机票.
飞机票 works. 机票 also works.
Okay. And then just ticket. How do you say that?
票.
票.
Yeah,
Right,
ticket
right,
would
right.
be 票. So, have you ever been on any kind of business trips? Perhaps not in this company.
No, not with this company. I have with the prior company going to a different location, but it wasn't that far. It wasn't like in another city. So I guess I
No.
wouldn't consider that a business
No,
trip.
not really.
No.
All right, so hopefully after today's episode, you will find the whole process of applying for a business trip less intimidating, so you would
Or I may feel
actually plan for one.
or maybe I might feel like, oh, I don't want to have anything to do with it.
Oh yeah, it depends. But I have to tell you, the experience outside of the office can be quite different.
Depending on who you're with, yes, I agree.
Yes.